No vacations complete without a bit of culture. This is me exploring the Basilica of St. Francis in Assisi. This is me admiring the virtual Vatican. This is me at the ancient Egyptian fortress of Wuhan. And this is me having my picture painted. This is the Imaginiso, invented by Disney artists to make electronic painting seem more like the real thing. In a normal paint system, the artist has to look at a separate monitor while drawing on a flat pad. The Imaginiso, for the first time, lets the artist work directly on the picture. He can see his work and his hand at the same time. And so, I get a virtual souvenir of my holiday at SIGGRAPH. Being a virtual tourist has advantages and disadvantages. Perhaps the best thing is that even when you get caught in a virtual thunderstorm, you don't get wet. Unlike in the real Orlando, where in the summer this happens every afternoon. This is Z Right, getting wet for bad influence.
I've done a lot worse things for bad influence than get wet, I can tell you.
Yeah, like dress up like a hippie, for instance.
Yeah. And incidentally, Z will be trying out the first full-scale Loch Ness adventure later on in the series. Now, though, time for this week's news and previews.
Move over, Mario. The big SNES game this Christmas features the plumber's original arch-enemy, Donkey Kong. Welcome to Donkey Kong Country, the most spectacular 16-bit game ever produced. It's been rendered on the same kind of machinery which will be used for the Ultra 64, and the graphics will knock your socks off. The game will have around 500 levels, if you count all the secret ones. It's due out early December.
If you're a fan of Desert Strike and Jungle Strike, you'll love the sequel due out at the end of this month. This is Urban Strike for the Mega Drive. The action takes place in the year 2006 in major cities across America. There are new weapons and tactics, and for the first time in some levels, you can leave your vehicle and carry out attacks on foot. We'll be giving Urban Strike a full review in a couple of weeks' time.
Britain's biggest consumer electronics show, Live 94, begins at Earl's Court in London on Tuesday. It runs for 6 days and, like last year, will be featuring the latest in audio and video hardware and computers and games.
Hello again, slimy furtlers. This is my latest invention, the electronic machine for inverting time, or EMIT for short. It makes time run backwards. Phew, rock and roll time. Anyway, here's a backwards cheat for Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive. On the intro screen, hold down A, B, up, and then when you press start, an extra box will appear with the words Virtual Racing reversed. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and then you can race around all the tracks backwards. Hey! And now for another time test. Brilliant!
After more than a year of hype, the first 3DO player was launched in the UK last week rather shyly. All the software comes on CD, but it's not just a games machine. It'll also play audio CDs and photo CDs. You can get your snaps put on a CD at most major labs, and then you can do funky things with them like that. You can flip them round and round and round and round and round, or you could zoom in if you wanted to, like that. You'll be able to play movies on CD eventually, but that requires an extra bit of hardware that's not available yet. The big selling point, though, is the games.
This is the 3DO version of the classic Mega Drive game Road Rash. The game's almost unrecognisable from earlier versions. The graphics are much more detailed, with a thumping selection of rock tracks from bands like Swerve Driver, Soundgarden and Therapy.
Another classic that's been given the 3DO treatment, Another World. In the game, you have to guide a young scientist back from parallel universe. The game looks great and the original gameplay is addictive. Another old favourite is FIFA International Soccer. The 3DO version has new camera features that let you zoom in on the pitch and view the action from any angle, and the crowd sound is amazing.
This is one of the few original games for 3DO, a cinematic monster called Shockwave. It's a futuristic shoot-'em-up. Earth has been invaded again, and you're one of the last combat fighters defending the planet.
Although the machines are only available in a few shops, we've decided to start reviewing the games so that at least you can see what they look like. And we're going to start by reviewing the game that comes with the machine, Total Eclipse. As the pilot of a space combat fighter, you are the world's last hope against an invading alien horde. Total Eclipse has a great intro sequence with superbly rendered graphics like you've never seen before on any home console. But who cares about the graphics? What's it like to play? Which is Wayne.
If only the game was as good as the introduction sequence, 3DO would have a bestseller on their hands. Unfortunately, it's not even close. You start the game with a standard weapon. All the way through the game you can pick up power-ups. There's one there. That's given me a better weapon than I started with. All the levels, as you can probably see, look very much the same. This one's been coloured in white to make it look like ice mountains, but the gameplay is very much the same all the way through. I expected something a lot better from the 3DO game. It's frankly mediocre.
I was very disappointed by this. The gameplay is pretty limited.
What a dull game. I got tired of this pretty quickly.
And the scores for Total Eclipse. The girls gave it an average 3 out of 5, but the boys thought the gameplay let it down, only 2 out of 5.
Strap on your jetpack for Archer McLean's Drop Zone. This is an old arcade action game which has been revamped for the Game Gear. You play a lone spaceman whose job it is to whiz around the barren moonscape of Io, shooting aliens and saving scientists. Here's Amanda.
This is a really simple game, which is easy to get into and great fun to play. This jack-shaped thing is a scientist. The aim of the game is to take these scientists and deliver them at Moonbase. All the levels look pretty much the same, but that doesn't matter because the gameplay is still there. Here's the rain cloud. I've got to be careful because the rain can actually kill me. There's all sorts of baddies and you've got to be quite skillful to turn around and shoot at them all, or avoid them. I couldn't put it down. It's cute and addictively playable.
It's a nice, straightforward game that works well on the Game Gear.
I couldn't be bothered with this. There just wasn't enough to do for my liking.
And the scores for Drop Zone. The girls gave it an average 3 out of 5, but the boys liked it a bit better, 4 out of 5.
Hello again, slimy furtlers. After a hard day cracking game codes, there's nothing I like better than tending my plants. This one's a violet, and this one's an Andy. And I'll let you into a little secret. They grow bigger if you talk to them. Come on, little planty-wanties, grow for Nam. Spurt up Andy, sprout out Violet. So, while they're growing, here's a cheat for Micro Machines on the Game Gear. It lets you choose tracks you race on. On the title screen, press up 2, down 2, 2, left 2, 2, 2. There we go, race 2. Desktop drop off. Hey! Oh, Violet! Oh, bad girl! Oh.
Last week's competition prize was a SNES, a Super Game Boy and 2 games. The question was, in which country was Tetris invented? The answer is Russia. Just over 6,000 people entered the competition. But the winner is Timothy Parson-Smith from Berkhamsted in Hertfordshire. Congratulations, Timothy. 10 runners-up will get the Bad Influence T-shirts, the proper ones. Better than sleep, not the ones that I did. Your names are going across the screen now. Well done.
This week's competition is to win a 3DO and a game. And the question is, to the nearest minute, how long does it take the light from the sun to reach the Earth? Phone in your answers on 0891 555 999. Calls will cost no more than 25p, and lines will close at midnight on Monday. But make sure you get permission from the person who pays the phone bill.
As usual, the 10 runners-up will get Bad Influence T-shirts, but remember, you can't win if you don't ask permission. Right, that's just about it for this week. Thank you for watching. We'll leave you with the specially shot intro sequence from the new Road Rash on the 3DO.
And did you know, Andy, that it was shot in San Francisco, where the flowers grow?
No, Violet, I didn't. Bye.